Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your preview for the game against West Ham at the London Stadium. Another away game for the lads, another difficult fixture potentially, but we're going to dive into all that kind of stuff. On the show today, we've got Sam, Chive and Shreyas. Have you had a nice weekend so far, fellas?
Yeah. City,
Yep.
well,
Yeah.
City won, which means Arsenal are less likely to win the league, which is good. And they beat Leeds.
Another step.
They beat Leeds, which is always good. But then City winning. So you can't get out for it.
But you would take Leeds losing and Arsenal not winning the league
Yes.
if it meant City winning.
Yeah.
And to be honest, tomorrow I will be cheering on Arsenal to do the business on Newcastle.
Oh, they play Newcastle, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Can you just say them words you just said again there? Start with it.
This message will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1.
Jimmy's not giving that clip to his mates, is he? He's not giving that clip.
No. I might use it as like bait. Just say like, yeah. Anyway. The game tomorrow evening. It's a weird time, isn't it? 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Something like that. Yeah. So I'll be live with the watch along on YouTube and TikTok from 6 o'clock with team news tomorrow. So make sure you jump in the chat and throw some questions. As always, you lovely people. A little warm up, and I've switched it up again this time. So, true or false? West Ham's top goal scorer is Danny Ings.
False.
False.
True.
8 goals in the league.
How many's
West Ham,
Antonio got?
Danny Ings. Not that many. He's only just started scoring now. He's only just started coming to form. Who am I? I've played for Manchester United, West Ham, and Birmingham City.
Birmingham.
Birmingham is alone, by the way.
Alone.
Jesse Lingard.
No, but
Just-
that is
Jesse
one of them, but
Lingard.
that's not the player. Nope. He has played for him clubs, but not him.
No.
And there was a loan as well.
Wait, Lingard was on loan. Was it Birmingham?
Go to West Ham.
Yeah.
West Ham.
But yeah, it's not him. Should I just tell you? Because I don't think he's going to guess it. Are you?
Sheringham.
Nope.
Oh.
Ravel Morrison. Morrison?
Oh.
Morrison. I'm not sure.
Morrison.
Yeah,
right.
Ravel Morrison.
He barely played for United.
Honestly, you could have named about 4
He's in the league.
clubs to Ravel Morrison, couldn't you, to be honest with
Yeah, about 10, mate.
Yeah, that's
Fucking
what I
hell,
mean,
Sheffield,
Yeah.
Lazio. He's been everywhere,
Derby,
absolutely
like-
everywhere. Okay, this one's a little bit easier. If none of you get this, I'll be a bit disappointed. I played for West Ham, Leeds, and Man United.
Rio.
Yeah, Rio Ferdinand, of course.
Did he play for the first
played-
team at West Ham, Rio? Or was he just the youth team?
Yeah, he got his debut. He got
I
his
think
debut
he got his debut.
under Redknapp.
Redknapp.
Yeah. I've played for United, Tottenham, and West Ham.
Say again.
I played for United.
Sheringham?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sheringham,
Correct.
Sure.
True or false? Tevez scored more than 50 goals for Manchester United.
False.
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 Yeah, correct. False. He scored 34 in total for United.
What a player, though. What a fucking player he was.
Unbelievable. Don't I hate him?
I hate him.
Oh,
Yeah,
me too.
I hate him. But
That welcome to
Fantastic
Manchester
player.
thing was just like, oh my
you're
god.
dead to me. You're
Worst thing
fucking
I've
dead to
seen in
me.
my life. But he
You know
was.
what's funny? You know what's funny? He said he didn't go to Liverpool because of Manchester United fans, and then he turns around
Went
and
to
then goes
City.
to City.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
It's
like, out of
basically
respect for the fans, I turned down Liverpool, and then
Yeah.
I signed for City.
Do you remember Gabriel Heinze wanting to go to Liverpool?
Yeah.
He was at United.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the fuck, man?
Quite a few of them. Traitors.
Traitors.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them.
Yeah. They didn't just want to move. Like they didn't want to move house. Just find somewhere close by.
Yeah. Well, you've got bloody Rochdale down the road or whatever. Go play for one of them if you're that bothered about moving houses. Saying that, I wouldn't move to Rochdale at the best of
no.
times. So
Or Oldham.
No.
for that
Or
matter.
Wigan. Or Wigan.
Oh no, that's even
Jesus.
worse.
Yeah.
Let's not go into the worst places in the
M62
northern. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just not do that because we'll be here all night. Now, we don't play Liverpool, we don't play Rochdale, and we don't play Man City tomorrow, but we do play West Ham. Good old West Ham, who currently sit 15th in the league on 34 points. So they're still not technically out of the relegation battle, but if you look at the rule of thumb with 40 points, they're pretty close to it. Bit of a weird one with West Ham because a few weeks ago it looked like they were just starting to hit a bit of form at the right time. They was doing really well in Europe. The BTEC Europe, well, not even the BTEC Europe, it's the Key Stage 3 Europe, really. CTEC, yeah, at this
Foundation
point.
Europe.
Foundation, yeah, whatever kind of words you want to use to describe it, it's that. And then in their last 3 games, they've lost to City, Palace, and Liverpool, conceding 9 goals. So they've gone up the roller coaster. What's that one at Blackpool, Sam, called? Is it Pepsi Max? Where you go right at the top and you just dush. Yeah, they've basically done that. And then when you even look at, from our perspective, when we go away from home, we have these kind of Jekyll and Hyde performances where it's just like we might be decent in the first half and then completely capitulate in the second half. I know that's usually against the top 10, but it's still an away game and it's still a concerning factor, especially when we've got a few away games left as well in the last bit of the run. Due to the loss against Brighton, top 4 isn't looking as secure as it was. I know Liverpool are playing Brentford very, very shortly, so I'm hoping they drop some points there. But this has kind of become a little bit of a must-win now, isn't it, Chivy?
Yeah, it's a definite must-win because if we don't pick up the points today and Liverpool win, there'd only be 1 point behind us.
And we'll have a game in hand, will we? Is that right?
Yeah, we'll have a game in hand, but it's points on the board, like games in hand.
Yeah, true.
It's all about points on the board. And just expect West Ham to turn into prime Barcelona tomorrow. And exactly, it's one of them ones. I don't ever remember a time when we went to London Stadium and bullied them. We've always got the points, but we never really. It was always a fight, a battle. Mm-hmm. I'm quietly confident because we always have this thing where we bounce back after a defeat. So I'm quietly confident that something will change. We have the right manager this time. I believe he can be inspiring to the troops, but it's one of them ones where it's just what's the word? Squeaky bum time. Yeah. Was it Ferguson who said that?
Fergie.
Yeah. So it's a must-win, 100%. Every game now is a must-win, as far as I'm concerned. Like we have to literally win every game, so that because if we can win 3 games, we've only got 5 games left. If we can win 3 of them, we'll be safe, and then we can just chill out and then wait for the final to come, and then just let whoever
rest everybody. Just rest everybody.
Just rest the whole literally. Just bring Brandon Williams back in and the rest of them.
Bring Phil Jones out of whatever he's in a coma. No idea.
Wherever he is.
Jones could have his he could have his testimonial finally.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, it's an absolute must-win.
Why do you think it's always a scrappy game against West Ham, Sam? Every time we play him, it's just proper like a minging game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mostly to do with David Moyes. I think the last couple of David Moyes, like my mate is a West Ham fan. He said he doesn't play to win; he plays not to lose, which is always results in a bit of a tight, stuffy game. They've got some good players, so it is bizarre why they don't play more to the players' strengths. Like there's the guy Luis Paqueta, like he's very, very good. He's a good player, and they just don't play him in the right way. You got Declan Rice, who all power to him for staying at the club that gave him his opportunity and stuff, but he's just wasted his talent there, isn't he? Like they're just not gonna do anything, and you can see why he's looking for a move. So yeah, I think it's mostly the coach. He's not quite as archaic as say a Big Sam, that kind of sort of thing, but he's not far away from that school of thinking. So the way he sets teams up is very sort of pragmatic and defensive. And when he managed United for that period, and it was frustrating under him when he managed us. I think he said the famous quote of, "We need to get better at passing, defending, attacking, and scoring goals." I think that was one of his press conferences. And you just you no manager needs to say that shit. You don't need to be saying that. Like, just out of his depth. So yeah, I think it's mostly to do with the manager. Brian Casey's in the chat. Even the lads, hope everyone as well. Hope you're well as well, Brian. Worst thing about Tevez going to City was the RIP Fergie sign. Absolute snake. I agree, mate. Totally agree.
Yeah. We've had a few snakes, haven't we, to be fair, in the grass. Yeah. Watch this segue that I do here now. Snakes slithering. Yeah, yep. You got snakes slithering, right? And you've got Malfoy. Malfoy has the same hair colour as Garnacho, and Garnacho could be back for this game, Shreya. So how do you feel about him potentially return? That wasn't terrible.
That was fucking... That was like eight degrees of separation there. That was a stretch.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Can we get a badum tis?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, if you want to give me a badum, I'll just wait until you've done it, and then
there we go. Okay.
Thank you very much. Garnacho, yes. How excited are you to see him back in the squad? The last game we played him in the FA Cup. He obviously had a massive say in it, scoring a wonderful goal. Exciting potentially in it if he is in the squad.
Yeah, and I think he would actually bring a lot of value to the team, and once again he'll provide us with an option to a genuine option which we can actually bring off from the bench, who can actually cause an impact in that attacking front. And we genuinely need someone like Garnacho coming in, because I think our defense has been decent. I think even our midfield, in the past few games they've been performing well. I think the attack has just lost that clinical edge, like that finishing touch. They've genuinely lost it. Like, I've seen us creating a lot of chances. Even against Brighton, we created a lot of chances in the first half, but no one actually converted from it. And I think, I think at certain times they don't really think that much when they're in front of goal. Like, the first thought that comes into their mind, they just go for it. But I think sometimes if just by playing that extra pass, maybe just playing a different player in could actually do the trick. But I think that's the kind of thing that we're lacking at the moment. And perhaps, someone like Garnacho, who has been in, before he got injured, he was in fine form. Like, he was creating goals out of nowhere. He was scoring, he was assisting. And he was linking up quite well with Bruno, with Rashford, even with Anthony, the way they were switching up the play every single time they used to attack forward. So probably, with with Garnacho coming in, players like Sancho, players like Anthony can actually step up their game a bit as well, because I think whenever Garnacho comes on, he does provide us with that flair. He does provide us with that threat that, whenever he's going to be, coming in front of goal, he doesn't really miss a lot of chances. And I think that's what players like Marcus Rashford and Martial and every single person in our attacking front, they need to, start converting these chances, because that's causing us a lot of games at the moment.
It's interesting you mentioned the attack and the defence there, because literally my next question was going to be, do you lads, just a general question to you all, do you lads think just a clinical striker is going to change the dynamic of our attack and increase it? Obviously it will to a certain degree, but I've spoken about the fact before that all our attackers combined in the league together, apart from Rashford, you deduct it, they've got 15 goals. And when you look at, forwards like Arsenal, I think Martinelli, Saka, Ødegaard, all these guys are all in double figures and close to double figures assists as well. So their output is miles ahead of ours. So do we maybe need to look at a few attackers to bring in, or are you happy with the current set that we've got, whoever wants to go in on that?
I think definitely, bringing in a striker, definitely helps our chances a lot, because when you have someone like a Weghorst playing centrally, you won't convert a lot of chances. And we've seen a lot of games, where our players genuinely want him to score a goal. They genuinely try and play passes to him, but he just can't convert. And sometimes, in certain games, like the game we had against Everton, the game we had against Nottingham Forest, just having that number 9 who, has that eye for goal, it does provide you with a lot of boost. It does provide you with that finishing edge. But I think right now, players like Rashford and Anthony, they just need to get their finishing boots on, because I think it was just after the World Cup. It was that period when we had that Arsenal game, Palace, and all these games that, Marcus Rashford, he was just scoring out of, every single position. Even against Barcelona, we saw him, he was scoring goals, completely out of positions you wouldn't really expect any player to score from. And now we're seeing him missing a lot of chances, which on an ideal day, you would see players like Rashford scoring. So I think definitely, having a striker would boost our chances. And with the players that we've got out on loan coming in, I think we are pretty much sorted in the attacking front.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that as well. I think once we get like clinical striker, and then if you look at Arsenal, like Mikel Arteta has had Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli for at least 2 seasons now playing his system. So obviously they know each other more. There's more chemistry there.
Yeah.
This is the first time this manager has all these players together. I mean, this same Arsenal treble that you mentioned, well, they didn't do anything last season. So I
I
think
mean, Saka. I think that's unfair. Saka was good.
no,
decent.
Saka was all right, but then the rest of them weren't
Yeah.
pulling up any trees. Like they weren't. Nobody expected this from Arsenal.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of context involved.
Yeah,
There's
of
a lot of
course.
things to consider as well. The stage of the season, everything that we've had to deal with throughout the season. I mean, this team has been through a lot. So yes, we expect more from them. But then at the end of the day, if the environment isn't 100% right, obviously it's going to affect the players. I think once we get, if we have a strong finish to the season, and we get another attacker to come in and have a preseason with us, I don't see any. And obviously with the players coming back from loan, I don't see any reason why there won't be a massive improvement. Because as we spoke about the last time, our defense is really really good, even considering the fact that we've lost Lisandro and Varane. Shaw and Lisandro, Shaw and
Lindelof.
Lindelof are doing a really good job as well. So if they're able to defend for long periods of time and we're able to build up a lead by scoring goals, we will be in a much more comfortable position going into games.
Sam, I suppose the better question is then: do you think they're capable of that output for the next couple of seasons of putting in them figures?
Yeah, I think, like Chivy said, if we get a clinical striker, and then I think Ten Hag will adapt the way we sort of attack in the final third, because at the minute it seems like because we don't have that focal point or a reliable focal point, we're relying on like the likes of Anthony and Rashford to score. So every time they get the ball, they're looking to shoot or they're looking to smash it towards goal. They're not necessarily looking up for that number 9 breaking in or that number 9 who's in space. Where we do have the players who are doing that at the minute, we have players who are going into space, but they're not looking up and finding them, or they're not looking up and choosing, I'm going to just cut this back and it's in the back of the net, it's a tap in. They're going, no, I'm going to score because I'm the one who's scoring goals. And obviously Rashford has been doing that this season, but now we're at the point where his goals have dried up a little bit and we're still relying on him because nobody else is scoring goals. Like Anthony bags the odd one, but apart from that, that's it. So when Rashford isn't scoring, we don't score. So I think once the striker comes in and Ten Hag is like, right, you 3 at the front and maybe 4 if whoever's playing behind the striker, you 4 need to interchange and make sure you're all giving each other the ball and giving each other opportunities to score goals. You can't just be taking it on, running at a defender and then trying to get shot off, because it just wastes opportunities when your teammate is in space. So I think once a striker comes in, that changes a lot and it becomes a lot better and we become more sort of goal worthy, because at the minute we're creating chances but we're just not finishing and we're not taking them. So I think once that happens, if say it's a Harry Kane, say it's a Victor Osimhen, whoever it is, I think that changes a lot. And then I think if we just get a number 8 press resistant ball carrier, that then adds to that, who's able to feed, again, another opportunity to feed into the attack and provide space and stuff like that. Because like Chivy said, our defence is solid in a minute. Even with the likes of Lisandro, Varane being out, our defence is like a unit in a minute. Is really, really good. So I think a number 8 and a striker are the key positions this summer we need to sort out. We've got wingers for days. We've got wingers who are on loan. We don't need any more wingers. We're sorting that department. So striker, number 8, I think this team can do some damage for sure.
I think we're going to need them tomorrow as well, to be on it. We're looking at the type of team that West Ham are. I watched them against Man City. The defensive work and organisation was really impressive. I know that I think they ended up conceding 3 goals, but for the majority of the game, their organisation, everything about them was absolutely solid, which David Moyes can do at times. He can kind of orchestrate that defence, which worries me because we are struggling to score. And West Ham, on the day, they do have individual players who can cause problems, like a Ben Rama, who scored that wonderful goal in the FA Cup, like a Declan Rice, who we know is absolutely a massive player for them. And Paqueta, Sam, you touched on him before, great player. Jared Bowen.
Even Bowen, yeah.
Yeah, Jared Bowen as well. So they have individual players when they want to turn up. They can do. Antonio can cause problems at times. I've seen him and Lindelof have a bit of a scuffle. I know Lindelof is in really good form at the minute, but that is maybe something that they'll look to target. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Luke Shaw can do a job on him, judging from what I've seen from him in the past couple of weeks. He's been the aggressor, and he's been the one stepping into midfield and cutting out these strikers. So I'm not too worried defensive. Like we said, it's just more the attack. Shiva, do you think West Ham should keep Moyes next season or look for a change of personnel? Obviously, I know you're not a West Ham fan. You might not watch them regular. But judging where they're at the minute with the talent that they have, where should they be? And do you think they should change manager?
I really don't know, to be honest. I don't know what their goals are at the start of the season. So I can't really, I don't know if their objective was to avoid relegation or to be mid-table. I really don't know what it is. But then, aren't they in the semi-finals for the Conference League?
Yeah.
So that's progress in my opinion. And if they do make the final, I don't see why they shouldn't keep him. How long has he been there? Has he been there just like a year?
A few years. No, a few
Couple of
years.
years.
Now.
1.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, the thing about sacking managers for me is like, I don't understand why. If they sack him just for the sake of sacking him and getting someone else, then that's rubbish. But if they have a replacement that makes sense, right? Not just sack him and then just go and look for someone else to come in, because at the end of the day, you'll be sacking them halfway through the next season. Unless it makes sense, unless they get like a really proactive manager, a modern football manager. The guy who's at Borussia Dortmund now used to be assistant. I think he was an assistant at West Ham, but he's really good. He's really good, and he's young, and I think he has ties to West Ham, if I'm not mistaken. So if they go, and I know he's at Borussia Dortmund playing Champions League.
Potter's out of work as well.
Exactly. If they go and get a manager that makes sense, then yes. But then if they're just going to sack him to get, Alan Kirbishley or just someone
Alan
that doesn't really
Kirbishley,
make
fucking hell.
I don't know.
I don't know if he's still alive.
Jesus
That's the first thing
Christ,
that
mate.
came to my head. Yeah, but if they just sack him and then just hire someone that doesn't really make sense, then that would be silly. But if he's managed to get them, the fans are probably really happy to get to a semi-final. Hopefully, to get to the final and win. I don't have any bad blood against David Moyes at all. Like, it was he was chosen by Fergie. He
didn't work out.
Yeah, he wouldn't turn Fergie down. So it's not his fault. So yeah, I wish him well, but yeah.
It's weird, isn't it, Shreyas? Because a couple of seasons ago they had that kind of breakout one, didn't they? Where they finished in the top 10. They was beating some like big teams. With the quality they have at the minute, where should they be finishing in the league, in your opinion?
I think definitely, over the years they had very decent seasons. They managed to get into the Europa League as well. For them, they went deep into the conversation, in the competition as well. But yeah, I think considering where they finished last season, and then considering the players they actually ended up buying, like Paqueta, like Skamaka, a lot of decent players came into to their side this season. Probably at least in the top 12 would be something I think that their fans would have been expecting as well. Like they didn't expect to be like 16th or 17th to be in a relegation battle. So I think definitely that is something which is a big warning sign. But I think if they do manage to stay up, I think most of them would still consider it a decent season, considering how the Conference League has went for them. But with the kind of players they have, like if you just see that squad on paper, you would expect that side to at least be in the top 12 or top 11.
Yeah, because I'm looking at some other teams around, and I'm looking like they don't have the individual players.
Yeah.
Like they do. I look at like Nottingham Forest, let's say, for example, or Leeds. They don't have a standout player like a Declan Rice, and they don't have like a better
you can compare their side to Brentford side. Like on the basis of quality, they have players who are much better in that Brentford squad, but Brentford have been doing much better than them.
Agreed. Is there anything just quick before we get into the quick firing stuff, Sam? Anything worries you specifically about West Ham tomorrow? That you'll be going into the game, you're like, I don't want this to happen, or maybe I could see this potentially happening.
It's on us. Like, we can win this game. If we're on it, we can win this game. But away from home, we aren't scoring goals, and we've got a history of not showing up in the second half. So if we do those things, West Ham could quite easily beat us, and then we're left annoyed and frustrated with a 1-0 loss because we didn't take our chances. We came out the second half, didn't look the same team, and West Ham get a penalty or a set piece and he put it in the back of the net, and it's game done. Much like the Brighton game. First half, we were dominating. Well, not dominating, but we were on top, and we were doing attacking their goal, had some opportunities. Came out the second half, Brighton took complete control. We tried to fight our way back into it. It looked like it was heading for a 0-0 draw, and then last minute penalty. And then it's a loss then instead of a draw. And I think all of us would have took a draw at the beginning. If someone said 0-0 draw, it would have been like, yeah, it's a fair result of Brighton. So very similar could happen here. We could not score goals and not take our chances and end up on the losing side of it, even if we are the better team. So I just don't want that to happen. If we need to score, we need to score early, and we need to score more than one. Because if we don't score more than one, we always end up conceding and drawing. So we need to score more than one, and we need to score early. Because in the second half, I don't trust us enough to come out and put on a performance. So that's what worries me.
Well, I suppose one positive is the head-to-head record. Last 5 games between both clubs, United have won 4, West Ham have won 1. We've scored 7 and conceded 2. So like we said, the games don't usually have a lot of goals and usually very scrappy and tinny and cagey. So let's hope for a couple more, because I feel like we're going to need 2 goals tomorrow to win. I feel like it could be 1-1, but we'll get into score predictions very shortly. Before we do a quick fire, Garnacho should be back, but not 100%. It's a bit misty at the minute, unless you lads have seen or /heard anything.
I think Ten Hag said, didn't he, we'll have to see before the game.
So it's a bit of smoke, and you don't know, do you? But apart from that, everyone who's available and or was injured for the Brighton game is pretty much the same. West Ham have Kufal, Skamaka, and the cat kicker Zuma. I think he's out as well, and Souček is a doubt as well. So yeah, let's do some quick fire questions, people. Tomorrow evening, Manchester United versus West Ham in the Premier League. Will both teams score?
No.
Will West Ham keep a clean sheet?
Yes.
No.
Apart from Rice, is there anyone you would take from their team?
I wouldn't take Rice.
Well, I just thought it'd be the obvious one, so I'll just.
We don't need a Paqueta. We don't need him. I like Paqueta.
He could be good competition to Bruno.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll just say Paqueta because I don't think we need him, but if I can't have Rice, I'll say Paqueta.
Yeah.
You can't have Rice, you'll have chicken.
Hey.
Come on, Shreyas.
I know.
Get on it, Shreyas. Fucking Christ, man.
Get him out. Thank you. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A few drums there for me. Thank you very much. Will Anthony get a goal or an assist?
No.
Yeah. Assist.
Yeah.
Prediction for man of the match.
Lindelof.
It's tough, man. I see it being a really shit game, so
I'm saying Shaw again.
Wan-Bissaka.
Interesting. Anyone want to kick it off with the predicted 11s? Shah Stamped in the chat saying United 2-0. Anthony and Bruno. I said Anthony then. Anthony. Sounds a bit posh, that. Anthony and Bruno.
Someone should put a bet. Someone should put a bet on Marshall.
I thought Anthony and Bruno was make you.
Oh. Fair enough. Yeah. Vince Bowling is saying 2-0 as well. So.
I was just going to say someone needs to put a bet on Marshall scoring, because there's only 2 teams he scores against, Everton and West Ham. Always. Everton are always.
He's
and always West Ham away. Always. So he might do fuck all in the whole game.
Let's score.
But he will score.
Yeah. I'll take that as long as we win. I don't give a shit.
3 points.
I don't do anything.
Who gives the toss?
That's it. Predicted 11s, please, lads.
Yeah, I'll go.
This one.
Yeah, I'll go. De Gea. I think Wan-Bissaka comes back in to deal with that threat on the wings. Lindelof, Shaw, and then Malacia, because I think he's got a bit of aggression about him. So I think shutting down whoever's will play on that their right hand side, our left hand side. So I think Malacia would be in there. I think Casemiro, Ericsson, and Sabitzer in the midfield, just to sort of play through their sort of defensive line that they'll put up, and then Bruno on the right, Sancho on the left, Rashford up top.
Oh, gone very different to me.
Yeah.
Lads, what are you going for?
I think he goes with the same defense. I think he goes with Wan-Bissaka on the right. He goes with Dalot on the left. Lindelof and Shaw, the hair net. Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno, Anthony, Rashford, and Martial.
Give it.
I think he goes with exactly the same team at Brighton,
Yeah.
except Ericsson comes in for Fred.
Yeah.
Okay. I've gone with De Gea, Dalot, Lindelof, Shaw, Malacia, just because the way West Ham play, compact, deep, hard to break down. So I think Dalot will be on the right hand side. I think Casemiro, Sabitzer, and Bruno playing the midfield.
I would have
and
gone with Sabitzer as well, but I think that Ten Hag just seems to, prefer Ericsson a lot more. If you look at the pecking order, he looks at Ericsson as his number one guy for that 8 position.
I agree. I just think Sabitzer's. I think Ericsson's been a little bit off the boil, and I think Sabitzer's looked all right when he's come on and played. So maybe it could go either way, couldn't it? And I think Antony, Martial, and Rashford play up top for the reasons that we've already spoken about. Dan saying Martial should start if he's not because Weghorst isn't playing good.
When was Weghorst playing good anyway? What do you mean he isn't playing good? He was never playing good.
Ericsson might be key tomorrow because if we're going away and we're going to play on the counter, you don't want anyone else to be fizzing those balls in. Like, it's definitely Ericsson if we're going to try and counter them, being that we're away. But who knows?
But I equally think as well they could both get in the team if you want to put Bruno on the wing or you want to bring some bits into the field.
That's why I was like, if we got Ericsson, we got Casemiro sort of sort out. I think Ericsson to provide those passes like Chivy was saying, and then you got Sabitzer who likes to get forward, and then you've got an extra man there, and Bruno's very capable of playing that right hand side. And I just think Anthony.
I love.
Anthony's been really ineffective. Like at the minute, he's just been cutting in and then just not really getting a shot off. So I think Bruno's the better option there for now.
I think it gives us a lot of room for variations as well. If you put Ericsson as well as Bruno as well as Sabitzer in the same team, like that right wing 10 and 8 position, they can actually switch about a lot, and it can and against a team like West Ham, you can do a lot of damage when it comes to variations.
I mean, just one last thing. Like, if you imagine just having like a Cavani striking. And
I know we spoke about this, didn't we? A few weeks ago.
And then you have Bruno on the right.
Yeah. Remember that goal he's going to get Southampton the header? From a
just feed him. And Bruno will be cooking the whole time because it's just feed the guy, man.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Feed him. Dan's put Martial's bad form is better than Weghorst's good form. I mean, you're probably right. Right, let's do score predictions then. Last thing of the show. Score predictions and goal scorers, please, if you can.
0-0, and so no goal scorers. I think it's going to be really, really horrible. So,
is there a boo sound that we can do? Boo! Will you look into that, please, for me? Whilst Chivy gives his. Yeah, that's very fitting. Yeah. Chivy, what do we think? Are you going as... Is it pessimistic?
No. I'm going 2-1 Bruno and Martial tomorrow. And I don't know who scores for West Ham.
Shreyas?
I think 2-0. And I think Bruno and Dalot score.
I'm going 1-1, and I think Shaw and Paqueta score. It's very random, I know, but I just think it's one of them games where it could be a set piece or something along the lines of that. So let's hope one of the lads is right. Whoever said a win, I think Chivy said a win. Did you say a win, Shreyas?
Yeah,
they both said
2-0.
Right, so let's hope one of you two lads are correct with that, and me and Sam are not, because we need the 3 points. That concludes the preview for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new around these parts, and smash a like on the video if you haven't already. I'll be live tomorrow from 6 o'clock with the team news on TikTok and YouTube. As always, please do come and get in the conversation as we go through the team lineup together. For up-to-date news on transfers, clips from the show, and aesthetically pleasing visuals on Instagram, drop us a follow on the socials, which are at the bottom of your screen there. And a big thank you to the lads, of course, for coming on over the weekend. I know you're all busy bees, so appreciate your time. Do you have any final lines, words, rhymes, whatever you want to give us before you go?
If you thought about, oh, there you go, sure is there. If you thought about supporting the channel, we do have a Real Reds Ultra membership. It's right next to the like and subscribe button. Please consider that. It does help the channel out with the running and stuff like that. We've got 3 spots, I believe, left in our starting 11. So you need to get in, pick your position. We've already got people like Shah Sam, Brian Casey, Andy Pundit, different people they've picked their positions, so get in before the starting 11 closes, and you might have a chance to be on the show. So yeah, and it helps the channel. It helps the channel tremendously. So we'd appreciate if you consider it.
And if you do join, I get to do this. Ultra, ultra, ultra. So thank you very much. We done? We wrap it up there, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Have a lovely weekend, lads. And I'm sure we'll be discussing the result tomorrow after the game. So take care of yourselves. I hope everyone else has a lovely weekend. Let's hope Liverpool bottle it against Brentford and we can all celebrate together.
Yeah.
Peace.